Look at that crazy crowd. I think they're having a good time. Yeah, Brad's getting all worked up, as Brad does, as only Brad can do. Well, welcome back. It is a staple here at the fair. The agriculture.
We're being attacked by my microphone. I'm so sorry.
I know. The microphones, you know.
It's okay.
They're a little flexible.
Day one.
The Agriculture Horticulture Building hosts some of the fair's most popular competitions.
And this morning, Garden Guy Dale Kay is finding out what goes into judging a blue ribbon bottle of wine. Of course you went for wine on day one.
Why wouldn't you go for wine on day one? We are up here, as you mentioned, in this very iconic building. You mentioned some of the greatest competitions of the fair are held here, and Minnesota's bounty definitely abounds. And actually, talking to some folks, a lot of people here, met some nice folks from White Bear Lake over there earlier, but the wine judging is something that I actually haven't covered before, but I am quite interested in. So to help me through this, or help us through this, is Jenny Toole. She is a wine researcher, grape researcher, I should say. So the most important thing to understand about this, I guess, Jenny, is it's an amateur judging, correct?
Yes, it's amateur wines, so people who are just getting interested in winemaking. So some of it's fruit and some of it's grapes, some of it's a mix of both.
You mentioned earlier that you've actually tried tomato wine here as a judge.
Yes, it was actually really interesting. It'd be good as like an appetizer wine, like with nachos or something. It had like a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I was thinking of Bloody Mary.
To it, yeah.
Okay, so what actually goes into wine judging? What do you do?
Yes. So what we want to do is we want to take a look at the wine. You want to make sure that it doesn't have any like off colors from like oxidation, which is too much oxygen on the wine as it's being made. So that turns brown. It'll turn the wine brown. And then just make sure there's like nothing floating or anything in there. Just make sure it's a nice, clean, clear wine. And then the next step is smelling it and really just taking in the aromas and making sure there's no like faulted aromas, like
I call that skanky. Is that the right word?
Skanky is a good word, or like kind of like old apples is kind of a bad fault. But then you taste it, and it's really just got to taste good to you. So again,
and you mentioned balance, right? What does that mean?
Yeah. So you want to make sure that there's a good balance of sugar to acid, because you have to have acid to be, so that wine has longevity, so it'll like survive in that bottle without exploding or something. So you have to have a nice balance, though, not too much acid and not too sweet, because then the wine will be like flabby or kind of like boring. So then after that, it's just like if you like it, if how that fruit kind of plays in your mouth and what it would pair well with. It's all those things that kind of.
I like that, how it plays in your mouth. So you have like a little judging scorecard, I guess.
Yeah, so they get scored based on numbers, and this one. The one that you're looking at actually did pretty well, so it got some high numbers on things like aroma and bouquet, taste, balance, color and clarity, and the body, like how the liquid is in your mouth, so like the viscosity of it. You don't want it too watery, and you don't want it like too thick, like a syrup.
Okay, so we got two wines here. What are we going to try?
Yes.
Should I pour?
Absolutely. So the first one is a white wine. It doesn't look like it has fruit in it. And the second one is honeyberry, which is
what's that?
Honeyberry is like it's like a berry that grows on like a bush type. So it has a little bit more acid to it, but like nice tannins as well. So the first one, go ahead and taste that.
Okay.
And like you missed two crucial steps.
Oh, I forgot to smell. See, I'm into it right away. Okay, so smell first.
First you look at it. First you look at the color. You hold it up to the light to see what kind of color it has, or if there's something good floating or anything in it. But then
I cheated. I already tasted it.
I know, but then you got to take it in, because tasting is not just about what it does to your tongue. It's about your nose and your smell, and like all of that plays a part in how you taste the wine.
Can I taste it? Can I taste something?
Absolutely.
It's very like, it's like one of those fizzy things that sticks on your tongue.
Yes.
Is it?
So that's typical. That's a Gewürztraminer grape, so it has a little bit more like a viscosity to it. It's a muscat grape, so it kind of dances on your tongue a little bit, kind of like honey, like almost like honey.
Okay, so I'm going to do this one right. Light first, right?
Right. Take a look at the color. And one other step is that you should grab it by the stem.
Oh.
Because you can heat up the wine with your hands.
Oh, see, I'm Australian, so we usually two-hand it. Okay, so look at the color.
Yeah.
Hold it correctly.
Yeah. take that smell in.
It smells very mild, kind of.
Does it?
Yeah. No?
No.
Can I taste it?
Smell it from here. That one you made a face, so it has a little bit more acid to it. So the balance is just a little bit off on this one.
Okay.
But it's
I
got a
taste
lot
it.
of fruitiness to it, right? So it's a very fruity wine.
Yeah, I don't dislike it, but it kind of grabbed the back of my throat right
A
away.
lot of acid going on in honeyberries. They survive here because they have that acid. So it kind of helps them in surviving the cold Minnesota winters.
All right, so I just want to point out these glass cases behind me. Over here is the first one over here is like the true kind of like amateur, is that right?
Amateur category, yep.
And then over on the other one here, who are these people?
Was the Minnesota Grape Growers Association, ICCWC, which is the International Cold Climate Wine Competition.
And it's quite amazing, I should mention, that Minnesota even has wine, so we call it cool season grapes. Truly an outstanding little industry. As I mentioned up here in the Ag Court building, lots and lots of bounty to take in. Of course, you got the apples and scarecrows, crop art. Everything is up here. It's a truly iconic building. And one little tip from Jenny before we go, don't wash out your glass with water in between tastings if you're tasting wine, because it affects the pH and affects the taste. With that, I'm going to send it back down to you guys.
Lots of glassware needed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, Dale's. There's been quite a lesson there today. That last glass you had, we could tell.
We
Maybe
felt
not
it.
your favorite, but that's
We
okay.
felt it.
It's all different kinds of wine lovers out there.